Ready to go commando? Wait, not that. Scratch that. Pull your pants up. I don't want to see your dick flopping around and hitting someone in the eye. Let me rephrase that. Are you ready to go compact? Ready to go for a whole bunch of classes? And it's very easy to use. Well, we've got that situation handled. Today, we're going to be reviewing the G36C assault rifle. The G36C is a different variant of the G36 assault rifle and was made in Germany in 1990. Eventually, it was accepted into the German army in 1997 and replaced the G3 battle rifle, which was used up in the 1950s. The G36 uses a composite materials and featured a ZF 3x4 dual optical scope on the receiver. The G36C, however, or compact in short, was made in 2001 and was purposed for close quarter battle. It featured iron sights, a folding stock, and a short barrel. The weapon was successful, not only the G36C, but the G36 as well, being used in many countries in all forms of military and police. The G36C has crappy damage. Next to the M4 carbine, you will need to shoot 4 to 5 shots in order to kill, but in the head, you will need 3 to 4. Your range is about the same as all the other assault rifles, at 38 to 50 meters. Your penetration ability is average, like most of the other assault rifles. Your rate of fire is a moderate pace, at 759 rounds per minute. Enough to kill people within a medium range, but you will be having a hard time killing people at longer ranges. But your rate of fire is increased to 1016 rounds per minute when it comes to double tap, and surprisingly, it's still effective when being used with double tap. And your hipfire, however, is average like all the other assault rifles, so this weapon can be pretty good when it comes to last-ditch efforts, when it comes to point-blank range at least. Recoil is moderate, which means that you're going to have a hard time killing people within longer ranges. In this order, you're going to have to burst fire in order to kill at longer ranges. But when it comes to medium ranges, this weapon's still pretty good, and does have a low recoil every now and then. Your switch times are pretty swift, one of the best within the assault rifle category, at 250 milliseconds down and 400 milliseconds going up. Your speed is around the same as all the other assault rifles at 95% of the base speed. Your magazine size, however, is on par, at 30 rounds, which is most of all the other assault rifles, besides the semi-auto weapons. Your starting supply, however, is 3 magazines, totaling up to 90 rounds. Your reloads, however, are one of the swiftest within the class, at 2.1 seconds, like that of the M4 carbine and that of the M16A4. The weapon is pretty versatile and can adapt to many classes, a stealth class, a power class, even a speed class, or even a sensory class. But today, we're going to be using it as a silence class, making sure that we will be using detection, quietness being our watchword, and making sure that we will be destroying everyone and then getting away with it. Obviously, when it comes to our attachments, we are going to have to go for silence. The silencer keeps you off the radar while you're firing, and with the UAV constantly being scanned around, you won't be able to be seen up until that point. But we're going to help with the perks when it comes to that as well. The silencer will give you less damage when it comes to your shots, but this is merely not much of a consequence due to its low damage. But if you don't like the iron sights, which is pretty understandable, then the red dot sight is also a good pick. The ACOG scope increases your sway and does increase your aim time, and increases recoil as well, so it's not really much of a choice. Not much said to the grenade launcher too, as it is only useful when it comes to medium ranges. So for our first perk choice, we are going to be using detection, and no other perk is better at that then Bomb Squad perk. Then the Bomb Squad perk, what it does, it detects enemy claymores in C4 once they're planted, and will be flashing a nice little red color, which means it will give you a good detection on where enemies are at or where they're going to be holding traps when it comes to objectives. Or even worse, it can even show where enemy snipers are, which can give you a huge advantage. If you fire with your average rate of fire and that of your average penetration ability, you can even kill the person or buddy of theirs along with it. But if you don't prefer that and prefer more ammo, which is understandable, then Bandolier is no doubt another good choice too. Second up, to increase our stealth capabilities, we are going to be using the UAV jammer. And the UAV jammer, what it does, it keeps you off the radar while UAVs are constantly pinging around scanning for hostiles, you accordingly. But with this perk equipped, you will have no problem staying off the radar whatsoever, unless you don't have a suppressor along with your weapon. So that would be a bit of a problem. But this is kind of pretty good when it comes to objective game modes, like Search and Destroy, Headquarters, or even Domination at this point. But if you prefer to have more damage within your weapon, stopping power is a good idea. But if you prefer a more better rate of fire, then double tap can also work too, and the recoil stays somewhat the same, unlike some of the other weapons. Lastly, to add a bitch slap into our stealth class, we are going to be using Dead Silence. And Dead Silence, what it does, is making your footsteps less loud, which means that this can be really good when it comes to hardcore game modes as well. Since enemies are more reliant when it comes to hearing, footsteps can no doubt spell your certain destruction. But with the eradication of this, your enemy will have a harder time looking for hostiles if they're more detecting on their hearing. But if you don't like that idea and prefer to see your enemies more, or hear your enemies more in this case, eavesdrop can also work too, but it's a close second due to the detection of your enemies and if they're in party chat, or not in party chat at least. The G36, like the AK-47, is a versatile weapon and can take on any situation. With this weapon, you have a moderate rate of fire, unlike most of the other assault rifles. It's good at medium ranges and is pretty much a jack of all trades weapon, which means it can adapt to any situation that you would throw onto it. The G36C, however, is not a master of any of those situations. It's only a good adaptation, but it's not going to be excelling at any kind of situation. However, along with that, you'll have to deal with low damage, one of the worst within the assault rifle category, and moderate recoil to add to that. So, if it comes to longer ranges, you're going to be switch cheese, but at closer ranges, you're going to be switch cheese as well. But this weapon can adapt to any situation and can be used in many situations. This weapon can no doubt do anything, just do be warned, it cannot excel in any of those situations as well, as said earlier. Even though if you want to look for something small, it can no doubt adapt to any form. So, strap on your panties and prepare to grab the G36C, and you can remind your enemies appearances can be deceiving. Thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and be sure to look at my Facebook and my Twitch page down below. And for our next episode, we are going to be reviewing the last semi-automatic battle rifle that we have on offer, and that is the M14. Until then, GalacticStorm saying, keep charging, biatches.